It's back. Bigger. Better. And better. It's Black History Month, the sequel, a 28-day celebration of black exploitation films. It's time for the ladies to take over for a little bit. Black Girl is another film directed by Ossie Davis, 2 years after Cotton Comes to Harlem and 1 year before Gordon's War. The movie was adapted from a 1969 play written by J.E. Franklin, though if she had it her way, I think it would have stayed on the stage. But we'll get to that in a minute. I don't know what I expected when I watched Black Girl, but I definitely wasn't expecting a raw and real true-to-life depiction of black family generational curses and childhood trauma. Black Girl holds nothing back in its portrayal of a dysfunctional family of women who refuse to address their own personal issues and fix their familial relationships. Black Girl stars Peggy Petite as Billie Jean, a young high school student who has dreams of being a dancer and making enough money to not only get out of her current situation, but also to help her mother out in the process. Black Girl already gets props from me because Billie Jean is my wife's name. Unfortunately, for the Billie Jean of this story, it's hard for her to chase her dreams when she has to deal with so much negative influence at home. Her mother, Mama Rose, played by Louise Stubbs, feels like a failure of a mother since she raised 2 other daughters who dropped out of high school and had multiple kids. And despite them both having husbands, they are beyond bitter and unhappy. This leads to Mama Rose treating another adopted daughter named Netta, played by Leslie Uggams, as her own and with more reverence since she went off to college. Poor Billie Jean gets it from all sides because nobody believes in her dreams, and above all, she just wants her mother's approval. Black Girl throws a lot of layers at you, but it's amazing how well it lays out all these relationships. The movie doesn't try to hide anything from you, or clean up anything for audiences. If you watch it long enough, you're bound to find something to relate to. For instance, Billie Jean has a different dad than the rest of her sisters, so they treat her differently. Big Mama lives in the house also with her little friend named Mr. Herbert, although she insists he just pays rent and helps out around the house.
Now that ain't none of your business, Billie Jean, who my mama has in her room. Now you keep your trap shut about it, or get out and get a place of your own.
Then there's the fact that Netta's mother, played by Ruby Dee, is mentally ill, but yet everybody in the house, and the town it seems, is reluctant to deal with it or acknowledge it. Just like in real life, everybody in the film treats these things as if it's just part of black life, ignoring that these realities are contributing to the demons that we often find hard to get rid of. For the majority of the cast to be first-timers or very young actors, they all did an amazing job with the subject material. I especially like how one of the sisters refuses to pronounce anything correctly.
She do that belly dancing stuff. You know, where you kick your legs all out and you have your arms flopping around like chicken wings.
At the Groovy Barn Grill? Doing what?
Doing that ballet dancing.
It ain't no ballet dancing.
P-A-L-L-E-T is pallet, ain't it? Well, B-A-L-L-E-T gots to be ballet.
Say what you want, but that's sound logic. There's much more that I can say about Black Girl, but it's one of those movies you should just watch. Sadly, playwright J.E. Franklin didn't love it as much as I did. She caught hell trying to get her vision to the screen because the studio and Ossie Davis insisted on several changes. Originally, they wanted Billie Jean to be played by someone, to quote Franklin, light, bright, and damn near white. So she had to fight for her to be played by someone dark-skinned. They also wanted to give the movie a more blaxploitation feel by having a character hold a knife on the promotional poster to make it seem more action-heavy, despite that scene only lasting about 2 minutes. Franklin wanted it removed, but lost that battle. Then they wanted Billie Jean to take her clothes off in the scene so that they could have full frontal nudity. Thankfully, Franklin fought and actually won that battle. Since this was a PG film, they even dubbed out all the F words, which Franklin despised. Ultimately, she ended up not really liking the film, and I get it, it's her baby. Props to her though for getting a lot of the negatives associated with black exploitation removed. Personally, I love Black Girl, and it kind of hit home for me. It's crazy that this movie hasn't been remade for a modern audience. It's long overdue for there to be less movies about black nightmares and more movies about black dreams.